Hello, this is Pomona Remembers, and this is Saturday Nights All Right for Talking. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm late. 'Tis the season, got a little busy and all of those things. And so I'm just going to make this as short and sweet as I can. I want to share, I'm going to call it a Christmas miracle. Okay? I have been taking a class with Dr. Whimsy Anderson as my teacher for HCRV. And Dr. Whimsy is traveling to Israel very soon, and we wish her much safety on her travels. And so I got my level 2 completed, and I was really proud of what I did, my work, and I just felt very grateful, and then I felt very moved to give my very, very first Hanukkah present to somebody who celebrates Hanukkah. So I was like, oh, I know that they get a lot of little gifts. That's all I really know. Oh dear, Scout wants in here. Hold on. So I decided to just grab a cross section of a bunch of different items that I've made through the years, as well as a special journal for her to take on her trip. And so I put in a lot of work to create this this gift for my teacher, who helped me get control over my gift. And it was a way of just extending gratitude for all of her hard work and input into my well-being. I appreciate it very much. So this was my way of saying thank you. And, a blessing before a big trip. So I ended up having a day, it was like 2 weeks before the trip was going to happen. So I knew that I had a very small window and a very small opportunity, and I wanted to videotape the experience of creating those pieces for Dr. Whimsy. The Scout's being playful right now. And one of the pieces that the journal was made with was a picture that I put together on Remembrance Day in Canada. And it is a poppy field in Flanders Fields. There's a poem by Colonel John McCrae that I memorized in grade 4. And so So, excuse me, please. So, I painted this particular print with all of the poppies on Remembrance Day, and I always recite the poem, and it's by a Canadian medic, a doctor, who just one day sat down and wrote this poem in honor of those who he had taken care of, and it's called In Flanders Fields. In Flanders Fields, the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks still bravely singing fly. Scarce heard amid the guns below, we are the dead short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw, the torch be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders Fields. And I just also chose another print that was orange and blue because my Whimsy is a fire sign and I am a water sign, and there's these, she talks about a bubble of protection, so there's these circles on the outside that represent those bubbles of protection. And then there is a whole bunch of prints that I made on my gel press, and they're all unique. They're all one of a kind, just like Dr. Whimsy. And I thought it would be a great place where she could write her thoughts. Maybe she could write some poems and make some more art in the midst of heaviness. So I put this box together, and I had a very, very small window of opportunity to get it to the post office and pay to get it sent to Dr. Whimsy. So I asked, my husband had slept in a little bit. He slept past his alarm. Hi, Scotty. Are you wanting to jump up? Okay, you're interrupting my story. So I asked my husband if we had enough time to run to the post office to send this package. And he's like, yep, we can do it. And so we were going, and I was feeling into the energy of the post office, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so busy. I just felt a knot in my stomach, and I was worrying a little bit about it. And I didn't know exactly what to do because I didn't want to waste my husband's time standing online. So I just was like, well, what am I going to do? And my spirit team was like, just what do you wish for? What would you like? What would you want at this time? And I said, well, I would love to be able to just walk up to the front of the line and be helped. That would be ideal for me. I said, but it's like the busiest mailing day of the year, and this would be a Christmas miracle for me. to get this Hanukkah gift out there. And then they were like, okay, so why don't you just play pretend? Imagine what you want and see what happens. And I was just like, it took everything in me to just let go of my rational mind and just trust that a miracle could happen for this moment that I needed it. So I just took deep breaths and I just pictured the ideal scenario so that we could get this package out and on time. And I let it go. And then we found a great parking spot. My husband went to the grocery store and I went to the drugstore to get to the post office at the back of the store and get in line. So I walk in. It smells amazing because, of course, the perfume's right there. And everybody is bright and cheery and welcoming. And I'm like, hello. I hate coming into stores, but there you are. Hello. So as I was walking in, I was just like, giving myself a pep talk, like, you know what? No matter what happens when you get there, your job is to be a light in this place. This is probably the most stressful day of the year. And just be a light to everyone you come in contact with. Just take care of the people around you. Bring them a smile if you can. And I'm like, yeah, I felt good about that. I was like, yeah, yes, doesn't matter. So I go through the cosmetics aisle and then I pass the vitamin aisle and I come around the corner and there is one person at the till with one of the postal clerks, and then there was like 3 other postal clerks, and then a giant mountain of boxes behind them. And it was like I had walked into Santa's workshop and caught the elves, and they were like, what? Like their faces were like, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted, but oh my, like they were overwhelmed and I could feel it. And I was like, okay. So I went up and the gentleman behind the desk said, excuse me, our computers are down right now. And if you need to send a box, you can get one of those flat rate mailers there and just put your stuff in there. And then we can take that and process it later when things are online. And I was like, oh, I know that those flat mailers are only for Canada, not for the United States. So I was like, well, sir, this is actually going to the United States. So that thing's probably not going to work. And then his eyes got really big and round and he goes, oh, I can take something going to the United States. For some reason, the computer's doing that okay. And I was just like, oh, really? And I kind of looked into the spirit realm and I could see my guides sort of giving me finger guns and like, got you, babe. We got you. And I was like, thank you. But I also felt bad for all the other people who, couldn't get their things out. And then as I was feeling bad about that, this lady runs beside me with 2 hands full of red and green and white envelopes laced between her fingers, her perfectly manicured fingers. And she's just like, do we still have to separate them for local and like provincial or outside of local? And the gentleman didn't quite understand what she was saying, and I was like, "Yeah," like, because I understood what she was saying, and then she said it again, and then he understood, and, I looked over at her, like, smiled, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and I was like, "You know what? It's okay, like, you're running around, I just got to ease on down the road, and everything is cool for me, so totally happy holidays, no problem whatsoever. I am willing to share the wealth." So, anyway, all he had to do was grab them and put them in 2 bags, right there, boom, boom. So, it was really no big deal. So, anyway, and then he was processing the package, I was just looking at everybody and they were all just like, whew. I was like, wow, you guys really look like you've been through it. And the guy behind the counter who was taking care of the parcel was like, you know what? I have been here since 11, and it was 3:30, approximately 3:30 when I was sending the parcel away. And he goes, "I've been here since 11, and I tell you, it was lined out to the vitamin aisle. It was so busy." And I was like, "I can see how busy it was. You've got a mountain of packages. Wow, you guys." And then the supervisor lady who's just been on and never took a break, she's almost off her shift. She didn't get a break the whole day because she was just taking care of everybody, right? And then he was like, "No, you go on your break." And she's like, "No, hon, it's not going to work like that." So, because she only took like a 15, not a half hour. So anyway, he realized that she had worked through her whole day without a break, and he was just like trying to take care of her, and it was so sweet, just the community and taking care of each other, and I just like acknowledged all of them and wished them happy holidays and gave them gratitude for their work and all of those things, and they just were like light and smiling when they left, so I accomplished my goals. I was like, "Spirit, if you could help me do this nice thing in a nice way for me too, so that my husband's not late for work, that would be awesome." And so I got a bit of a holiday miracle for all of us, and it was so cool because the package I saw on the ticket that it arrived on the winter solstice, so the 21st at 12:12, and I just thought that was so funny how perfect it was. So anyway, let's pray for safe travels for my teacher, a teacher to so many, uh, a great oh, Winter's growling at me because I closed her outside the door. And a great and amazing teacher. L'chaim, Dr. Whimsy, L'chaim, to life. Ta-ra.